Hey, we're live for what day is this? This is day 11 of the 28-day drawing challenge. So we do all the prompts every night, brought to you by our Draw or Die company. If you want to see any of the brushes I'm using during tonight's stream, I have those for sale over on drawordie.club.com. And also you can buy some cool merch there, support the channel. And you can also join the mailing list every week, and every Sunday at noon, we drop a newsletter to help encourage artists out there, help you stay encouraged. That's what the Draw or Die Club is all about. We also have daily drawing prompts to help keep you motivated, and that's what the 28-day drawing prompts are, and they've been chosen by our community. So this is a look at the 28 prompts. Let's take a look real quick, a little bit bigger. Tonight, it's going to be TV time, and I'm going to do an ode. I'm going to draw an ode to old school Saturday morning cartoons. So I'll be doing that tonight. I'm going to take a look and see what's going on over on the club. So my custom brushes. All right. Thanks, OPUS. If you are an artist out there looking to do live drawing, check out OPUS. I've got a link in the description. If you use code DJ, you'll get a free year of using the OPUS tools. So all the cool things that we have in here, you can move these stickers around like this. You can move these little graphics around, and all kinds of cool features that OPUS has for artists. So links in the description during the video if you want to check those out, or afterwards, because we'd like you to continue to watch tonight. The website looks like that, OPUS. So actually some really cool things, and I'm quoted on their website now for the emoji rain thing, bringing me a lot of joy. And there's some really cool features on here, like just to check out. So again, use code DJ, and it is free for a year. All right. First thing I like to do every night is check out what's going on in the Draw or Die Club. I also want to make sure I'm monitoring this stream here so we can see how many people are in there. All right, cool. Hey guys, thanks for joining tonight and watching. Let's check and see what's going on out there in the club tonight. So tonight is TV time. We've got a little bit of is this Dungeons and Dragons? Saturday morning cartoons? I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to do an ode to my Saturday morning cartoons and talk a little bit about memories of that life in the 80s watching Saturday morning cartoons. So take a look here at some of these drawings from the club. And again, if you're hashtagging Draw or Die Club, time to get brainwashed. Clockwork Orange, that's cool. I like that one. Let's see here. This one looks like they're here. I thought about that too. The Poltergeist staticky TV. I like this one. This must be from yesterday. They are a survivor. Awesome. We'll draw us. All right. I don't know what's going on here, Hero Hotel. Hey, thanks for joining the stream. This is crazy. This is like the Matrix, I guess. Something like that, like hooked up to these tubes. That's pretty cool. All right, cool. Let's get drawn tonight. Clear this out. By the way, I think Procreate fixed their problem with the slider. It caused me some technical problems the other night. So now I can actually get in here and figure this out. So yeah, tonight when I thought of, look at this, Kurt says he watched Saturday morning cartoons in the 60s, right on. That was before my time, Kurt. I'm 47. I'm 47 now, so I got the 80s treatment. You know, you got all the good cartoons though, the original cartoons. Turn this music down a little, just a notch. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at what TVs looked like back then. I kind of remember what my TV looks like. And again, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a small, tiny composition sketch, and then I'll blow it up and flesh it out here. because I kind of have an idea. Kind of like a real memory too, So I'll talk about it as I'm drawing it. You know. All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Saturday morning cartoons. I kind of feel like, however it was, changed because I was trying to remember the Saturday morning cartoons that I watched. And as I was thinking of the cartoons I watched when I was a kid, it was actually, I was thinking of afternoon cartoons. Like I was watching He-Man and Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe and stuff like that in the afternoon in the 80s. And I'm like, wait, that was afternoon comics. That was not Saturday morning cartoons. So Saturday morning cartoons were like, the lineup was usually like the Smurfs. You usually had to sit through the really crappy early ones before the good ones came on in the 80s. So actually, I'm going to get into, oh, come on. This kind of had a base. Talk about the TVs too at the time. Get in there. Right. Everything's changed. It's amazing how much has changed in just these little bit of decades. But I feel like those afternoon cartoons kind of, changed the whole game. So for me, I got a pretty clear memory of the ritual of watching Saturday morning cartoons with a big bowl of cereal. So I'm going to kind of do that. That's the concept for this sketch today. I'm going to go ahead and make my little kid bigger here. Over here. Corner. And this will be even bigger. Just going to cut this. Cut. Paste. See where I'm going from there, right? Alright, that's good. And we'll take this kid a little bit, change him up just a notch. Kind of want the TV to be bigger than the kid. Alright, that's good. That's a good little composition. If you watched Saturday morning cartoons, you can post your lineup if you remember it. So I had some Hanna-Barbera cartoons in the morning. I'll try to remember. But definitely, I was stuck with like the Smurfs and the Snorks and Gummy Bears and I wanted to get to I had some Thundar the Barbarian, but then Amazing Spider-Man came out, or the Friends, what was that called? I don't know. Those were the cool ones too for me. All right, let's fade this out. Do some drawing here. First, we'll draw the kid. Get in there. You never knew when to wake up back in the 80s. You just kind of did it. And sometimes it was too early when you would wake up. And the cartoons weren't quite on yet. Thinking it was 7 a.m, you'd be like, I'm ready. Let's go. Then you turn on the TV and it would be some kind of infomercial, or there was always in the Pittsburgh area, we always had there was a show that was on beforehand that was supposed to be kind of for kids, but not educational. It was stupid. I hated it. I was like, oh, I'm up too early. And I would just sit there and wait. get a big bowl of cereal and like a giant bowl. I might make this bowl of cereal bigger just to be fun about it, funny about it. Like half a box of cereal in the bowl. I don't think so, but you know, let's go like that. But there was like a golden age for me of I don't know, you know, some of the best Saturday morning cartoons for me were like got into like the beginning stages were like yeah, you know, you had the Smurfs and some like Hanna Barbera stuff, maybe some Looney Tunes stuff, and then it got to be like Mr. T and the '80s, the crazy '80s cartoons like the wrestling, the WWF, the Hulk Hogan, the monster trucks. Those were the ones I was waiting for to show up for my. I don't really like that hand. I'm gonna change that hand. It should be more like a grasping the bowl, right? Gonna work on that a little bit. Get there. Oh, come on. My eraser's not working. All right. Yeah, there were some cool ones. There was like a mystery show. I can't remember. And then the Dungeons and Dragons uh, animated show that was out for a little bit. Those were cool. So you had your Saturday morning cartoons, and then after school, I'd have He-Man and Brave Star and all kinds of stuff like that. You know, you can fake that foot coming across. Do that. I wasn't a chubby kid, so I'm gonna fix that. Make flannel pants. Okay. Scooby Doo. Yeah, Scooby Doo. Love hate relationship with Scooby Doo, I think. Like, I'd be like, all right, I got to get through this. Not quite my speed. They felt like reruns. I think they were kind of reruns in the 80s. So there wasn't like new. And then suddenly they'd be like, all right, now's the new Scooby Doo. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but they'd be like, suddenly there was Scrappy Doo in there. The animation was just a little bit different. I could tell. Like, this one's a rerun. This one's, you know. And now looking back, I'm like, really like, I love the backdrops in those cartoons, man. The background paintings, crazy. There's blogs online about that stuff. You know what I'm talking about, maybe. But like the background paintings of some of those old Hanna Barbera shows were just amazing. You know, hated Scrappy Doo. I'm trying to make these comments bigger, so when I put them on the screen, let's try to. How do I do that? Let's see. No, I used to be able to. I think I need to do that. Oh, trying to make this comment bigger. It's not working. Whatever. It's readable enough. Scrappy Doo was kind of a punk, like a punk A. B. Pebbles and Bam Bam. Yeah, same thing. Like the Flintstones got weird too. I don't know. I kind of remember that. It's like such a vague memory. The Flintstones were fine and they were rerunny. You know, they were like reruns. Oh, and there was another one. I don't know. Like maybe some of you guys will help me, but there was one about like racing. Like they were on a race, like a great race across the wherever they were racing to. I don't know, but it was a Hanna Barbera cartoon, and they all had crazy cars and stuff, and like Jabberjaws and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Wacky races. Yeah, man. That was a fun weird cartoon. when I was a kid. Got the bedhead. What a cool escape that was. And then, like, Saturday morning, you'd have the cartoons. Uh oh. What happened? Oh no. The iPad died. All right, let me reset this. Gonna do this. See? Gosh, what a pain in the butt. It's actually QuickTime that does it. So I'm feeding in QuickTime into the stream. Man. Darn it. It'll only take a second to reset this. Thank you for your patience. Let's talk a little bit more about cartoons as I'm doing this. Yeah, see, Kurt, like those Dick Dastardly things, those were like they would run those as like they had licenses or something, and they would just rerun the old stuff from the '60s and '70s, and then like the new '80s stuff would kick in. That's kind of how I remember my Saturday mornings. All right, let's see if it's going to come back. Say a prayer to the iPad gods or the QuickTime gods. Listen, QuickTime. All right, it's coming. It's coming. Every now and then, it just decides to pop out. I'm kind of hacking this whole system here. I'm going to get rid of this. It's way too big. We don't need to plug that. So full screen. I got full screen. This. Wait, no, this should be just me. That's me. All right. And then this should be the full screen drawing. I'll get rid of the Draw Die Club there. This should be the emoji rain screen. So we'll keep the emoji rain on for right now. All right. Figuring this out, guys. I'm not a pro at this. I'm going to have the shadow coming back here. All right. Put some shadow on my head there. See if I was eating a spoon or eating with a spoon. I think my finger would be right here. Good enough. I don't know what kind of cereal. Fruit Loops, let's call it. That'll be nice to color that. Big bowl of Fruit Loops. I don't even actually like Fruit Loops when I was a kid. Like Lucky Charms and stuff like that. Yeah, Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest was a good one. Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds or Go. Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird show as well. All right, so the TV that I had was like this crazy floor model, talking in the 80s here. I'm just going to kind of just remember it a little bit. So anyway, I was saying as that broke out, on Saturday morning you had your cartoons. So that was cool. Nice little escape. And then on Sunday morning you had the Sunday comic strips. So I was like, weekends were the best. I would just be like watching animation on Saturdays and then looking at the comic strips on Sundays, kind of tracing them and stuff like that. It's pretty cool also that a lot of those old animations that Kurt was mentioning there in the chat, Johnny Quest and what's the other one? I was thinking of Johnny Quest and another one. But a lot of the concept art was done by like Alex Toth and really simplified animation, but really awesome. Or simplified characters and stuff. There's a couple books back there on my shelf that are the Alex Toth Genius Isolated, Genius Illustrated ones. Those are good books. Dude was a weird genius, but isolated, very how we say, introverted, kind of grumpy dude, but a genius nonetheless. Yeah, so you may not, some of the youngsters here might not have ever seen TVs like this, but they tried to make TVs that look like furniture. So they had like weird, like it was a piece of your living room. So a lot of times it didn't match your whole get up, but there was always like weird. I'll get into the inking more of it. I just want to know where things are at. And then there was like a panel here. And you had the main guy. The main screen was over here. Oops. Great. Oh yeah, I'm gonna add those rabbit ears. That's the twist of the day. So if you're a part of the daily drawing prompt challenge group, the twist today was antennas, and I had to have antennas. So we're gonna put those bad boys up there. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But there's also the trick that you could do with these antennas. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It's a crazy reception. Hack that. My friends had TVs with like push button, like really bad push button digital, but we still had the knobs, with like the dials for UHF and UHF, and yeah. All right. And our TV also played the radio, which was a fancy feature back then. You could just switch on to AM, FM radio, and it was like, wow, that was the technology of the day. Holy shit, your TV could play the radio too. But it was a separate, it was obviously like a separate thing happening there. But it was pretty state of the art. It was pretty, if you had a TV like that, then people were like, wow. So look how far we've come now. Right. But I think, yeah, I'll get into it in a minute. So who I'm going to draw on the screen. It's so silly. And I'm just like so grateful for everything I have now. I'm drawing on a magical device, broadcasting it out to, whomever on the internet. Yeah. Rotary dial changer, yeah. But that's kind of what my TV looked like. And I would sit way too close to that TV too. Probably win. We had one of these carpets, with the, I don't know what they're called right now. My brain's kind of tired. Those little like, come on. What's the name of that carpet? Yeah. Herculoids, Space Ghost. In there. Lost in Space. I think it had an animated show. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just like watching the black and white, so much. So that's the part that, like, you'd crinkle up a piece of aluminum foil and put it on the antenna, and it would do stuff. It would get the signal better. It was really weird. I think I told my kids about this once. I was like, "Yeah, we used to have to put it. It sounds like you're in the. It sounds like you're in the Stone Age or something. We used to have to put a piece of aluminum foil on the antenna, and just one little micro inch off, and then the reception would come in." Yeah. That's funny. All right. Well, let's see who's going to be on the TV. It's going to be Mr. T, all right? Because it's TV time. Mr. TV time. And the reason I like the Mr. T animated show was really bad. It made not much sense at all. But the reason I liked it is because I loved the A-Team when I was a kid. I loved that show. I loved all the 80s television shows too. A-Team, MacGyver. And so I thought I could kill two birds with one stone here with the weird Mr. T. I got a Mr. T story too. Maybe I'll tell that when I'm making it. I don't know. Remind me. I don't know if this is going to look like Mr. T. I'm looking at the animated version. It was like they wanted to make him look mean, but they were like, he's also got to be smiling, and I pity the fool, but they didn't really get his nose right or anything, so it kind of looked like Mr. T, just because they're like, let's put a mohawk on him, let's go. I'll get there. But yeah, man. The A-Team, what? That was a cool show when I was a kid. It's just stuck with me. It's embedded in my head. All that 80s stuff, man. This does not look Mr. T, but don't worry about it. It'll come around. It'll come around. I'll get it in a minute. We'll get there. You got to build it up. It doesn't look like Mr. T right now. You know, they can't all be gems, but it'll end up looking like Mr. T by the time I'm done. I promise you. At least the Mr. T animated show. You know, he had those like feather earrings. Knight Rider. Yes, yes. I feel like the 80s were just a very special time. Like I said in another stream, I was like, it feels like in the 80s people figured out, you know, a little bit in the 70s with some cool shows in the 70s. Like the Bionic Man and stuff like that. Or $6 million Man. Those shows. They kind of figured out, like, wait a minute, we can make a show up about anything. The Incredible Hulk show, cool, you know. Love that show. And when you were real little, you'd just be like, I'm just waiting for this guy to turn into the Hulk. Got some nice Lou Ferrigno stories. That's for another day. Got to meet him multiple times, and some of them weren't nice times, but the last time I met him was really cool. We were on TV together, and he threatened me on TV. We were on a local thing promoting the Wizard World Comic Con being in town in Pittsburgh, and they wanted me to draw live on the TV in the morning show thing, and I was like, okay. So I get to meet him backstage, and I'm like, I hope he doesn't remember me from the Comic Cons, and he didn't. Thank goodness. I have to tell the Lou Ferrigno stories now. Damn. Maybe I should stop. Lou Ferrigno stories. So he was super nice guy. And then we get on the camp. Like, I wasn't gonna draw the Hulk on the stream, or on the, not stream, but the TV show, the live thing. I was just gonna draw like one of my characters or something because I could do it faster. And live on the air, he's like, "Well, you're gonna draw the Hulk, right? Because I'm here. If you don't draw the Hulk, I'm gonna beat you up or something." There's a video of this somewhere. And I'm like, of course I'm gonna draw the Hulk. And I'm like, oh no, I need to draw the Hulk. You know, be cool, stay in school. That's kind of what he's saying right now, kids. Don't be drawing the Iron Maiden in class, DJ. Don't do that. So messed up. Yeah. First time I ever met Lou Ferrigno. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into these stories while I draw. These are good stories. Lou Ferrigno. First time I met Lou Ferrigno. I didn't really meet him, but he was at Pittsburgh Comic Con back in the old day when it was called Pittsburgh Comic Con. By the way, they had to change Pittsburgh Comic Con because the owner of Pittsburgh Comic Con murdered his wife in a comic book store years before. We're going down these rabbit holes now. You gotta look this up. It was on Dateline, or Dateline. It was an episode of Dateline and all that stuff. Yeah, the guy murdered his wife in a comic book store, got a settlement, moved to Pittsburgh, hid out, and they finally uncovered him. And he went to jail. He's still in jail right now. I forget the dude's name, but it was a big scandal. So Pittsburgh Comic Con kind of went down. Anyways, years and years later, Pittsburgh Comic Con the first time, I used to have a friend and he wanted to go up before the show opened. Lou Ferrigno was getting ready at his table and my friend came up and was like, hey, he just wanted to talk and say hello to Lou Ferrigno. And, Lou Ferrigno was there to make money. So this is before the doors opened up. And I guess he went up to the table and he saw us filming him from a distance and he was really grumpy. And he just told my friend, like, pointed at the sign and said, I'm not open yet. And was like just a jerk to my friend. And so my friend was like, F that guy. I mean, years later, I have empathy for like all that stuff. I'm like, man, he was there to make some money and he was just getting set up, wanted to probably chill out before he had a line. Because he's always had, he always has a line, even though. So, but it was embedded in me like, oh, wow, he's a jerk. Because my friend said he was a jerk, right? So years later, I did this comic called Your Mama, and it was really bad pop culture, dark humor stuff. You might know it. If not, please don't look it up. So I'm just not that same person anymore. But I decided to take these baby wipes and I dyed them green and I put them in a little baggie and I made a little logo that said Lou Ferrigno's Incredible Ass Wipes. And they were green. And I said, these were the actual wipes from the movie or from the TV show that he would use to take his makeup off of. And he had a little logo. And I sold these at Mid-Ohio Con and they sold out. Like I think I had one pack left. People just thought it was like it was a gag gift. And I remember him coming by my table and looking down and going, because someone must have told him, like, do you see what this kid's doing over there? Oh, okay. There's some epic Lou Ferrigno stories out there in the Comic-Con world. I got a couple. This is one of them. So Lou Ferrigno's Incredible Ass Wipes. And it fit our comic at the time because we were like, you know, because you'd hear these stories that he was a jerk and all this stuff. Whatever. Um, but I remember him walking by the table and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to kill me. This dude's going to freaking straight up murder me. And he was just like, what? He was just look confused. Like, I want to do the look right now. He was just like, he just walks by and he like looks down. And he was like, what does that mean? Like, that was the look he had. It was like, what does that mean? I kind of wanted to give him one, but I was just like, oh my God, thank God he left. God. So then years later, different stage of my life, I was at Wizard World in Texas. I forget which city. Dallas, maybe. Wizard World. And I was there for Hero by Night, so like I didn't do the webcomic weird stuff anymore, the dark humor stuff. And let's get into some inks here. And I'm at an after party at this bar, and boom, there's Lou Ferrigno. He's there, and I'm like, all right, just avoid that guy because he probably wouldn't have remembered who I was. But in my mind, you know, you're there at these conventions and you have imposter syndrome, and also I had done some not so, you know, I made some not so nice jokes about the fella, so I just kind of wanted to hide and be like, okay, I'm just going to drink my beer over here, and and then a bunch of crew of people were playing pool, and I like to shoot pool, so I go up on the table and I start winning the games because I'm pretty good. I was pretty good at pool. I'm not good at pool anymore. I start winning. I'm winning the table, and Lou Ferrigno comes up and puts his quarters down on the table that he's like next, or the next couple over, and I'm like, ooh, man. And he looks at me and he's like, he gives me this look, like, I thought it must be the look of I remember you, but his girlfriend at the time, I think it was his girlfriend, and he's like, you got to let her win because I want to play her next. Like, you got to leave the table. You better let her win. He was just like saying something like that. And I didn't know if he was drinking or what. I don't know if he drinks, but he was just, I think he was being funny, but it was also like, he gave me this look like he was going to kick my ass. And so I'm playing the game and I'm beating the lady. And he comes over and he sees that I'm beating her. And he just stares at me like, what's your problem? Hold on a second. I gotta switch this gesture controls because I can't stand that painting with the finger thing anymore. All right, good. Oh, no. And I just did not want to play Lou Ferrigno in pool. I thought he's going to remember, if he doesn't know who I am, he's going to remember me somehow. And I'm going to get beat up by Lou Ferrigno or something. Or I'm going to say something because I just can't control myself at the time. I'm going to say, hey, remember that time I made your ass wipes? He'd be like, it was you! And then he would beat me with a pool stick. But no, instead, I let the lady win. I accidentally hit the 8-ball in to lose the game. She thought that I had won. And I'm like, no, I knocked the 8-ball in. I lost. Good game. And I just got out of there. Because I just sensed danger. It was probably it was my imagination. I'm sure he didn't even remember me. He did not remember me. And then, years later, I wish I had like the years, like 7 years later. Wizard World Comic Cons in Pittsburgh. There's controversy about that because Wizard World kind of sucked after a while or something. And a lot of artists were bitter about it. And they wanted Pittsburgh. Oh, they wanted their old Pittsburgh Comic Con back, and people. I don't want change, and the Wizard World's too expensive, and all this stuff. Right? Crying, bunch of belly aching. And they're like, DJ, will you, the guy from Wizard was like, hey, DJ, will you be on TV and help promote the show? I'll give you some tables. You can give them to artists around the area. So I did that. I was like, yeah, it's a good trade-off. I can get on TV. He's like, by the way, Lou Ferrigno's going to come on with us. Isn't that going to be great? And I'm like, what? Oh, no. I'm intertwined. It's the thing that I was talking about in the Genie stream the other night. Some people are just connected. Somehow, Lou Ferrigno and I are connected in a weird kind of way. Somehow we were meant to know each other. It's going to be a long stream tonight. Saturday night, what do you got to do? Can't shut up. But again, I had that. I didn't really care as much. I'd grown over the years and matured, and whatever. But I went to the green room with him, and he's like, tell me about your comic. And like, he was really interested in my stuff, and I told him. I didn't tell him about the old stuff. I was just like, oh yeah, I did this book, and now I do fan art, and that kind of stuff. And he was like, that's really great. You're so talented. Oh my God. And he was like, send me your business card, because my daughter does a thing, and she's doing a fitness thing and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is the nicest guy ever. And I'm an idiot. Like, this guy really genuinely was happy for me, and was like, wow, you're so talented. And I was like, wow, this guy is super nice, super sweet guy. And he was saying something to me and Jerry, the guy from, I don't know, I forget exactly what he was saying, but it was just so wholesome and real. He was just like, we need to take care of each other and stuff like that. And we need to look out for one another. I want to encourage. And I was like, wow, this guy is awesome. I am such a jerk for making fun of him, or, I blame my old friend. He's the one that kicked it off. He was like, Lou Ferrigno's a me. No, he's a good guy. And then we get on the air, and the thing's live, and he did that thing again, the same thing where he's just like, it was like he threatened me. He was like, you're going to draw the Hulk, right? Because I'm here. If you didn't draw the Hulk, that would make sense, and I'll have to take care of you. And I'm like, whoa, or something. I was like, oh man, of course I'm going to draw the Hulk because you're here. Yeah. And so I did. I drew the Hulk. But I wasn't confident in they wanted me to draw it really fast. And I'm like, we only have a 5-minute segment here, guys. So I started to draw it. They did a thing where they're like, check back on the website and we'll have the final drawing or something like that, I think. Oh, and I drew the host of the morning show before time. I drew her as a superhero, so she showed that drawing. That was my last time on TV, and probably my last time on TV ever, because I did not like that. But I was very appreciative. I don't know. I was very appreciative of Wizard trying, They were trying. They were under a lot of pressure to make money and stuff, too, I know. So, weird market in Pittsburgh for Comic-Cons. As a matter of fact, I might go on tomorrow. I didn't schedule the stream, but I got to do it soon. I might be here tomorrow afternoon for a special stream. I'm going to draw I was asked to draw the poster for the Three Rivers Comic-Con. Now that's the new real Comic-Con, right? We've got 5 Comic-Cons around this area. And I'll tell you about the Pittsburgh area Comic-Con right now while I'm drawing this Comic-Con scene. There are 3 Steel City Cons per year. Steel City Con is more like your typical pop culture con. As as some people call it, the celebrity zoo. So we got that going on 3 times a year: spring, summer, winter, something like that. And they've really done a good job of bringing in pretty cool guests, honestly. But when you're there as a person that's trying to sell a comic, not so much. If you're there doing fan art, you could do pretty well. Steel City Con. And there used to be these battles between people going like, "Oh, Steel City Con's not a real Comic Con," blah 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 blah. It's kind of, it's a pop culture con. Would I like to see more comic book oriented stuff there? Yeah, I would. But that's not the world that we're living in anymore. They want to go there and meet their stars, and I don't blame them, because like there's been some like 1980s stars there that I'm like, that might be cool to go and see that person. But I grew numb to that, going to all these shows. I'm just like, yep, there's the guy from Married with Children. What do you do? Should be talking about Comic Con stories. Should be talking about TV shows, but I guess it's kind of connected, because a lot of those guests at Steel City Con are old 1980s actors from TV shows and voices from cartoons and stuff. So got to meet a lot of those folks. Not pay to meet them. If you go to these shows a lot, they're at the after parties, they're at the bar, they're having dinner and stuff like that. It's not party time. They're just there for work, pretty much. But they get to know you. They get to see you, and they go, "Oh yeah," and they acknowledge you, and you're like, "Yeah, we're all here hustling to make money." They don't. A lot of them don't really like. They do have a genuine like appreciation, but there's also this feeling of like their days are done, sort of thing. Like Karate Kid guys were there for a long time at Steel City Comic Con before that new show came out, Cobra Kai, and it was cool. There's the Karate Kid kids, and then Cobra Kai came out, and it was like there used to be like not a line for those guys, and then Cobra Kai came out, and it was just like, whoa. Now they're like super popular again. Pretty cool. You could have gotten their autograph way easier and probably cheaper beforehand. But anyways, Three Rivers Comic Con kind of brought the comic back to Comic Con. It's a lot more comic centric stuff. They don't have any celebrity media guests that as of yet. Maybe when it makes sense they'll do it, but I might have. I don't know. I should have scheduled a stream. I'll do it after this. I'll schedule a stream for tomorrow. Maybe I might have John pop on he's the manager of the Comic Con, and we'll be nice in that stream. We won't tell outrageous stories about Lou Ferrigno in that stream. And last year I went. I did the Three Rivers Comic Con logo years ago. I sat with the owner Todd, and he was like, "Hey, what will you do for a logo? Like, what deal can we make?" And I'm like, "I don't know." At the time, I was trying to get some gigs, so I'm like, "Well, if you have connections at Marvel or something, or if you have connections or editors, you want to connect me with them so I can meet them when they're in town, that would be cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I can do that." We never did that, but I said, "Okay, so I'll do the logo for you," because usually I charge. I do charge quite a bit, or not quite a bit, but logo design work is not cheap to do. It can be quite expensive for brands. So in this case, I was like, trade me for a table at the show and whatever. Say that I did the logo, that's fine. And I did. That's how I traded off. So years, still going there. I don't do fan art anymore at those shows, but I do. Last year I took Draw or Die Club there in May. And for the first time, I did a little talk. There's a couple people there. Maybe this year I'll try to get some more people and do more of an extensive talk now that I've done this for a year of like encouraging artists to draw and stuff like that. And it might be cool to like, we have enough time. Maybe we could do like a workshop on like comic creation, you know? That might be fun. Because I'd like to just encourage more people to draw comics or tell stories with their comics instead of fan art. Fan art's fine, but it would be really good to see more people going interested in the craft of like, what do I need to do this? How do I tell a story? That, you know, and I'm not a master at it or anything like that by far, but I do dig it. I could talk about it for like days. I know the guys that can talk about it for days too. So, you know, you get Jim Rugg in a room and a couple of these other Pittsburgh dudes, Don Simpson, and Pittsburgh's like pretty rich with these guys that know a lot about the craft, you know, that I've learned a lot from. So we could have some really interesting conversations about um, comics. Roger says, "You'd like a workshop? You're stalling out on making your own comic. What are you stalling out on? Let's talk about it. Or what have you done? Sorry if I already know you. I might not recognize the name on the screen here. It's very small. I know Roger from high school. That's not you." I've observed things just from doing my own comics. Like, why did I stall out with my comics? Because I started a lot of comics and didn't finish them. My wife will tell you that. Like she's salty. Not salty. That's a bad word. But I told her the other day, I'm like, hey, will you develop a new comic with me live on the podcast? I think that'd be cool. And she goes, well, we already have a comic that you didn't finish. And I'm like, oh, burn. The comic that we didn't finish was Godchild. It's just hard for me to do. We got 4 issues done, and we were signed with Caliber. And Gary Reed died, and that just kind of threw my brain into a weird space. And just, yeah, those couple of years were like really weird. Godchild's a really good book, but yeah, she's like, I'm not developing anything new with you until you finish Godchild. And I'm like, that was like 10 years ago. Let's start something new. Let's go. But maybe I should finish Godchild, you know, just for whatever. But I got some ideas of why I stall out on comics. Let me read this real quick. Sparhawk, I did the November this year. Okay, cool. Sputtering out on getting my act together on my dust-covered drawing tablet. All my art has been on my art app on my phone. We have another guy, Barry, you know, that's over in the Discord. Barry Link, he's been drawing his comic forever. He draws on his phone. He draws on like a Galaxy or something like that. It's pretty incredible. He does Phineas for Hire, Magician for Hire. Sorry, Barry, if I'm saying the names wrong for the phone that you have, but it's incredible what he does on his phone. Join the Discord if you can, if you want to see Barry's stuff and talk to Barry. So that's a good little, you know, Discord's like I'm barely in there myself because I feel old, but it's kind of like an old school forum. It's kind of how I look at it. But I think the thing for me, and I was learning this with Secret Forces the last time I was messing around with that, and I still might go back to that because I miss doing it, and now it's just got a lot of time commitments. But the thing that I realized with Secret Forces, so I had a choice back last year. I only had so much time, couldn't do it all. I could either launch the Draw or Die brand to help encourage my friends and do this stuff, or I was going to put all of my effort into really going all in with Secret Forces, putting out books quarterly and building an audience up and then showing other people exactly how I did that. And instead I chose the Draw or Die Club because I wasn't feeling confident. I was just like, man, I keep doing the same thing over and over again. I keep launching comics, not finishing them, getting depressed about the comic book market, fighting against the stream of how the industry works, all this stuff. It was depressing to me. So I'm glad I did choose that, but now I'm like, okay, I want to get back to doing comics too. And I might do that. So the 4-panel thing is easier. I see that Fossil Girl says she finds comics a struggle. I think it's because you might think of it in like giant 30 pages, 40 pages, 80 pages. What's your story going to be? And those 4-panel things make it really easy to kind of test something out. Test out a concept, a story. It could be slice of life stuff. It could be, adventure. It could be whatever. Just like I have in that video that I put out. And Roger, there's a link to the Discord in the link in description in this video, I believe. So after the stream or whatever, if you want to do that, you can do that. I don't know if it'll let you look at the links now or not. But anyways, the thing that I realized was that comics, the way as they are now, even they're so insular, insular, very cannibalistic market. There's the comic book stores, the direct market, and then your people, and you're talking to other creators, and like you do have comic book fans, but there's very few and far between. And they're already fans of certain stuff in certain genres, but there's more. So I think my problem was, why people will say like, why your comics need to be more known? And comic books readership has gone down, but manga has not. Manga readership has gone up, like through the roof, up. Like Barnes and Noble sales records, more. The graphic novel manga sections at Barnes and Nobles and bookstores now are crazy. So then I started like examining the market and going like, I'm not reaching actual fans of the story. I'm just reaching other comic book industry people that are like, oh yeah, it's like this with that, or your comic's like this comic. I don't want that. I would rather have a new or someone that's like, so for me, I would go like, okay, I want fans of G.I. Joe. Not the comics. I'm talking like the hardcore G.I. Joe fans, because my comic was kind of like that. Like a little team of whatever going on adventures. And then also X-Files, like people that like the supernatural stuff. So then you got to ask yourself, well, then why are you marketing in the comic book direct market to each other? You got to start marketing outside of it. And I'm still interested in that, like that exploration of there's a better way to do all this somehow. Your audience doesn't have to be the direct market. Somebody made that shit up. The direct market is broken. right now, where you are right now, YouTube is where it's at. But also the fact that you could watch anything, you could find anything, and oh, look at that! It kind of broke the thing off here. You can find anything just by search, on YouTube, and it's another escape. But like, could you do comics on here? I don't know, but that's kind of why I made that video about the future of comics. Was like, people could discover you on here, and like I'm doing now, you're listening and talking and going, oh, I've already had like quite a few people say like, can you said about storytelling, how do I make my stories better? And I'm like, well, I don't know that I'm a teacher that can teach you that. It's just something you got to study. So maybe I can point you in the right direction of things to study, but I'm not a workshop like, panel, here's how to make your characters more interesting. I just know it when I hear it. That's kind of what, like, I even know in my own mind when an idea comes, I'm like, that's lightning in a bottle. Like, Hero by Night was one of those. That hook landed, and I was like, that's it. That's a good one. Godchild was another one for me. That was a good hook. So you need your hook, that kind of stuff. And then you need to figure out who's the audience. What are they already consuming out there? You got to avoid the Hollywood trap of, when I was working in Hollywood people for a little while, it was always like, you would talk to producers and stuff or people in that game, and they'd be like, so what's your elevator pitch? Okay, I got it. But they would be like, no, you got to be saying something like, it's like Godzilla, but with men in black. Or it's like Godzilla and Men in Black. It's like always two things that they would try to like put together. And I'm like, well, what was Godzilla then? Godzilla was just Godzilla. I don't like that part of Hollywood. It's just like, you should try to be your own thing, kind of. But I understand then, you're trying to talk to someone that like, oh, so I like that thing. I would like your thing. Yes. And that's how the algorithm works across all of time and space. Right? That's pretty fun. I'm going to throw some colors on that now. Go in and do my normal flatting thing. Let's do the kid first. But yeah, I'm having some, when I do have conversations with artists, I'm like, I had a conversation with, I shouldn't say his name. Never mind. I'm not going to say his name. But I had a conversation with a pretty well-known comic creator, and I was talking about this. I was like, why is it that we just can't help ourselves? Like, the direct market has such a hold on everything we do. And it was like, yeah, I know. It's weird. And a lot of the people that are in that direct market game, if you don't know what the direct market is, because there's some people in here that don't know what the direct market is, but direct market is like, you get a catalog every month for comic book stores to order from, and it goes direct to the comic book stores, but you got to order months in advance. So a lot of the independents are just like touch and go, like, these stores will always carry like the big titles, like the corporate comics. So the independent comics have to really break through and make a buzz before, stores will start carrying them regularly, blah, 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 blah. But all the sales across everything are down, really, to be honest. Except for in like Barnes and Noble, stuff like that. The manga is like through the roof. There are comic book stores that do really well. Don't get me wrong. There are comic book stores that are selling comics hand over fist. But there's also several that are closing down over the pandemic, all that. and you're relying on one distributor. That's the direct market. It's stupid. And then if you go to Comic Cons, then you got to wonder, like, well, the direct market's not enough to support the fandom out there of all these things. There's not enough warm bodies to make comics for all these things, really. So it's TV shows, it's animation, it's you got to pack that stuff in there to get people in the door. But forget all that. Forget all that. Just forget that it even exists. You know, back in the day, it was the newsstand and syndicates and stuff like that, and fighting for newsstand type of stuff. All right, I'm gonna put this. I had like an orange carpet, so we're gonna like a brownish orange carpet. Nope. Good. There, do that. Used to work for New England Comics. I like New England Comics. I'd been there once or twice. A long time ago. Galaxy far, far away. Just kind of doing some random coloring there. Yeah. And there's guys like, Michelle, is it Michelle Fife? I'm just going to get his name wrong, man. Capra. Where is it? I like this model. I'm going to show this book real quick. Take a break from drawing for a minute. Capra. So, Fife, I think that's how you say his name. We're going to take a look at this real quick. Capra. So what he does is he self-publishes his own comics. Let's get the glare out of there. Capra number 44. And he signed it. Got some cool, really thick cover here. I'm a subscriber, so I think you subscribe. I forget what it is, $30 for the year or something like that. And he puts his books out quarterly. And I mean, they're wonderful full color comics and it's just like a crazy story. I can't even really describe what it is. It's kind of like superhero G.I. Joe team on crack. Let's just call it that. But his model is that he puts these out himself from New York. He just self-publishes them, puts them out, prints them. And then he has Image Comics publishing the trades, I think. But he puts these single issues out himself. And he builds up quite a, I don't know anything about him really besides that, except that he's a good artist and a nice human being. But I like that model. And I almost did that with Secret Forces. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a quarterly comic book. It's still a great idea to do it that way. But you got to kind of abandon the idea of market and what am I doing here? What's going on? Why is this not working? Am I on the right layer? Yes. Right. Got that. Why won't this work? Oh, I accidentally bumped the opacity all the way down. Oops. Dumb. Great. Yeah, anyways, I like that kind of stuff. The self-publishing stuff. You could use print on demand. Something like Comics Wellspring with an X. You can just print on demand. You could print just what's to order. You got all these choices now, but I mean, in the end, you got to do the work first. So you can have all these ideas, but actually sitting down and doing a 22 page or whatever that, I think that's about 22 pages. It's a lot of work. A lot of work to do it. And then if you're doing it, you're putting all that work in, and then you have like 5 people that buy your book, you're kind of like, oh, it's depressing, you know? I know. So you got to kind of forget about all that and just kind of, you know, have something stable, like a job or something. Do the comics that you want to do, and try to find an audience with them. It's a lot of work. But I actually think, like I said in the Future of Comics video, I think you got an edge with this stuff, this streaming your process a little bit if you can. You know, just paint this up a little bit. It's gonna be messy. I'm just going fast now. Don't worry about it. I'm not sharing my screen. God dang it! All right. Well, glad you looked at me while I was, just staring down at nothing drawing this. All right. Yeah, now I just kind of do everything because I love doing it. Really. Like even this, doing these drawing challenges or whatever, it's not really a challenge. It's just a fun thing. Like I got to draw Mr. T today. That's pretty. I never would have thought to draw Mr. T today. But thanks to the Draw or Die drawing challenge, I'm drawing Mr. T on the TV, thinking about my childhood memories. Maybe for the sake of. Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and just color all this. Why not? It'll make the thumbnail look good to have an actual Mr. T on this. So, could have cheaped out and just said, like, it's Saturday night. I just want to go chill. But I can still go chill after this. I think I'm probably going to set the stream for tomorrow to be like. I don't know. I got to think about it. I got a lot to do tomorrow. But I need to draw that poster for them at 3 Rivers Comic Con. So, let's see. Could also do like Monday night stream. No, I gotta draw the thing. It's the worst month to be asked to do something, but I like those guys, so I'm gonna do it. They said they really only need the pencils and inks. They have a colorist and stuff ready, so. But I'd like to do the coloring too, just because doing these streams here. I wonder if I could do a double whammy and say, if I look at the prompts and I somehow make it make sense that that's the day's prompt, that would be a cheap out. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'll be like, I could have done that tonight with the TV time. I could have probably drawn, because it's a Spider-Man cover, but with a comic book collector. I don't like to say comic book nerd. Say comic book collector fan in the space of where Spider-Man goes on the Amazing Fantasy number 15 cover. So there's going to be like a guy swinging through the city with his comic box, and they'll put the logo and stuff on there for that. For the 3 Rivers Comic Con. That's in May, I believe. So, all right, good. Get there. Just gonna go to my airbrush, watercolor brush. I mean, oh, isolate that layer. Get in here. Get the skin tones first. Trying to figure out in my mind how long it will take me to draw that cover or that poster for their Comic-Con. Probably 2 hours, 3 hours stream. That could be fun. I'll look at my schedule tonight and figure it out. I'd like to let them know so that they can let their people know, hey, come watch the poster being drawn live. It's a lot of pressure, but if I mess it up, I'll mess it up live in front of everybody. But nobody really cares, you know? You could mess up, make mistakes as a human. So. I wonder if I could go back and watch. If I could go back in time and watch cartoons as a kid again on Saturday mornings, just for a minute. And it's kind of sad that there's no more Saturday morning cartoons. But I guess you can watch cartoons anytime you want now. I remember having a conversation with a younger colleague at work, and she was like, I said something about scheduling TV time. That also triggered this when today's prompt's called TV time. And I thought, yeah, we used to have to schedule our TV time, like, hey, MacGyver's on at 8 o'clock. There was no DVRs or anything like that. You just had to be there, or you missed the episode, and that was it. You had to hope and pray that it would come back in a rerun in 6 months or something. She was like, that's stupid. Wow, that's lame. I remember her saying that. Like, oh man, it must be nice to live in this on-demand world. We had to schedule everything. be a fool. Stay in school. Let's see. Just looking around here. Some of these little details. So minimal, no one will ever even really look, but I will. And then I want to do an effect here of over the screen, so I'm going to probably find my airbrush. That would be up. Nope. Do the wash brush. Nope. Okay. Just a little glass effect on, make it look like it's on a TV. So, not important. Oops. Some static lines. Don't be a fool. Stay in school. I am the fool for which he pity. Same. I tell my Mr. T story real quick. When I was living in California in the 90s, Mr. T had cancer. Real bad. And he was bald. And, dealing with it, and someone was like, "There's Mr. T," and I looked, and it did not look like Mr. T at all. It was sad. But we were driving down the car, and high school friends, and they were like, he was walking out of a store, I think it might have even been a clinic or something, or a doctor's office, or some kind of it's in Palm Springs, California, and it was a shop, not a shopping center, but a medical office center where there's some offices, and he was coming out, and my friends were like, "I pity the fool," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" It was funny, but it was also not funny now. But I didn't think it was really Mr. T because it did not look like Mr. T. He had no hair, and he was dealing with cancer and shit. But I'm glad he's. Man, how old is he now? Good for him that he's still kicking around. Amazing. We're almost done here. I was so mean to these 1980s television stars that brought me so much joy. What's wrong with me? Sorry, Mr. T. All right. You know, that's pretty good. Here we are, another about an hour and 20 minute stream every night. Take a look real quick to see if anybody brought any newness while we're drawing here live. I see Barry's, Barry's always killing it with his art. We were talking about Barry earlier. He ain't got time for these streams. Here we go, Matt Verde. TV time. Decided to use a limited color palette. That's just made up of pink and purple. Right? So if you're out there and you're drawing, even if it's not for these streams, here's another one. Welcome to Prime Time, bitch. Some of the stuff. That's Freddy Krueger, right? Yeah, anything that you're making out there, if you want to be seen on this or just kind of be a member of use the hashtag Draw or Die Club. Check out the website. Join the newsletter up there. Newsletter. That will take you to the newsletter every week. Comes out soon. And that's it. I think we're done. I think that's it. I'm going to go chill out. I'm going to update this thumbnail for this video, and then I will see you guys back here tomorrow, 8 p.m. Same drawing time, same drawing channel. And what's next? What's the drawing for tomorrow? It is going to be number 13, right? No, number 12. I don't make monkeys, I just train them. From Dustin Pike. By the way, tonight's was by Kaiser Illustrations. He's usually popping in to the stream. So good one. Then what do we got coming up? Cupid's Bad Day. The Price I Pay for Love. We got a couple cool ones coming up here. Birds at Work. And of course, my favorite one is going to be the Funky Wood Animal King. I don't know what that's going to be, but I've been talking about that. And again, I'm not sharing my screen. Bad. So these are the ones that are coming up here. Next week, we'll get into Thick as Thieves. I think I already know what I'm going to do for that. Tainted Love, Need Space. I'm just kind of reviewing these myself. Looking pretty good. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight. I'll see you again tomorrow. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Draw every day. Stay encouraged.